Alright, so felt like we're going to do something a little bit different to start this time. Felt like God had a few things for us to say from the book of Isaiah. And so I want to start by just everybody kind of closing their eyes and listening to the beginning of this passage, just real short, and then I'm just going to ask you what you were thinking or feeling as I was reading it. So it's Isaiah 55, it starts with verse 1, it says, "If you are thirsty, come here. Come, there's water for all. Whoever is poor and penniless can still come and buy the food I sell. There's no cost. Here, have some food, hearty and delicious, and beverages, pure and good." So what do you feel as that passage kind of washes over you? Just what's some of the first thoughts or feelings that come to your mind?
Thankful.
Thankful. Rest. Yeah. Rest. Anybody in need of that? Yeah. I think that God is offering us life, and if we have it and we stay together, we're an unstoppable force, full of God. But sometimes we don't choose that. So verse 2 goes on in Isaiah 55. Verse 2, it says, "I don't understand why you spend your money for things that don't nourish, or work so hard for what leaves you empty. Attend to me and eat what is good. Enjoy the richest, most delectable of things." So we all do this, right? We all spend our money for things that don't nourish. We work our butts off for things that leave us empty. So I don't know, why do we do that? Why do we do that? Or maybe like, what are some things that you've found, like just thinking, what are some things that you found yourself working your butt off for that are just leaving you empty? What are some of the reasons? You know, what
Comfort.
What drives that? Comfort?
Fear of change.
Yeah, fear of change.
Pride.
Pride.
Fear of not being accepted.
Fear of not being accepted. That's good.
Lack of trust.
Lack of trust. Yeah. Yeah.
Ignorance.
Ignorance. Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah. I'd say probably one of the hardest things for Cindy and I in this job is this tension between what we know God has called everyone here to and the rest of the world. What the rest of the world is calling everyone in here to. Because I know you guys have all got stuff, jobs, families, school, extracurricular activities. There's all kinds of things. And so probably the hardest thing for us, because we feel like we're called to push you toward ministry, because we think that it may sound cliche, but we think you were made for this. And so we feel like we're supposed to just keep pushing. So just know that that's a struggle for us when we're pushing you hard and we're asking a lot of you. It's because we're trying to push you into the place that we believe that God has called you to. And not telling you to walk away from the other things that God's called you to, but to prioritize your life and kind of figure out what has your priority that shouldn't have your priority. Justin Setzler posted a passage in 2 Corinthians 10:15 on Wild Connected a couple weeks ago, and I thought this was perfect. 2 Corinthians 10:15, it says, "Nor do we boast and claim credit for the work someone else has done. Instead, we hope that your faith will grow so that the boundaries of our work among you will be extended. Then we will be able to go and preach the good news in other places far beyond you, where no one else is working. Then there will be no question of our boasting about work done in someone else's territory. As the scriptures say, if you want to boast, boast only about the Lord." When I read that, I thought about the part that stuck out so much to me was, we hope that your faith will grow so that the boundaries of our work among you will be extended. Because when God created the world, like He created the world to create and to keep creating and to keep creating and to expand and if you looked at science, you would see that echoes throughout the universe. The universe is still expanding. They just found a galaxy that is producing 740 stars per year. Like, there's a galaxy out there that's just spitting out stars. Like, it just keeps creating. It just keeps creating. And I think that's for a reason. I think that's because it's echoing what we're supposed to be doing, what God created us to do, to keep creating. In Genesis 1, it said God created huge sea creatures, all that swarm of the life in the waters, and every kind of species of flying bird, each able to reproduce its own kind. And God saw that His new creation was beautiful and good. And God spoke this blessing over them: "Be fruitful and multiply. Let creatures fill the sea. Let birds reproduce and cover the earth." So He gave sea creatures and birds this ability to continue to create and to produce. Evening gave way to morning, that was day 5. Earth, generate life. Produce a vast variety of living creatures, domesticated animals, small creeping creatures, and wild animals that roam the earth. Now, let us conceive a new creation. So He gives animals and creeping creatures and wild animals to go and create. Then He says, let's conceive a new creation. Humanity, made in our image, fashioned according to our likeness. And let us grant them authority over all the earth, the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, the domesticated animals and the small creeping creatures on the earth. So God did just that. He created humanity in His image, created them male and female. Then God blessed them and gave them this directive: be fruitful and multiply, populate the earth. I make you trustees of my estate. So care for my creation and rule over the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, and every creature that roams the earth. So, this is embedded in our fabric to create and to continue to produce. And if you go back and read the 2 Corinthians 10:15, we hope that your faith will grow so that the boundaries of our work among you will be extended. This thing that God's been doing here is sending ripples across the earth, the entire world. You have no idea the impact that you're making on this world right now in this county. And so that's why we're going to keep pushing and saying, hey, we demand attention too. Like, God demands attention because He wants to use you. He wants to use everybody in here. And I know He can use you in other places, but man, I know He's using you to bring up a new generation of life. So going back to Isaiah 55, it also presents the right choice. Verse 3 says, listen closely and come even closer. My words will give life. For I'll make a covenant with you that cannot be broken, a promise of my enduring presence and support like I gave David. See, I made him a witness to the peoples, a leader and commander among the nations. Now you will issue a call to nations from all over the world,
people whom you do not know and people who do not know you. They will come running because of me, your God, because the Eternal, the Holy One of Israel, has made you beautiful. So what stands out in that passage? Let me read it again. All right. Listen closely. That's how it started. All right. Listen closely and come even closer. My words will give life. For I will make a covenant with you that cannot be broken. A promise of my enduring presence and support like I gave David. See, I made him a witness to the peoples, a leader and commander among the nations. Now you will issue a call to nations from all over the world, people whom you do not know and who do not know you. They will come running because of me, your God, because the Eternal, the Holy One of Israel, has made you beautiful. So what stands out?
I would say the great capabilities that we have because of the power of God.
Because of the power of God, yeah.
Yeah, I'll back that up just with, Isaiah's talking about how God kind of made David a leader, and like he made David a witness as well, like to all the people that he spread it. Like that's God like transforming us, making us, or I guess we were made for this. It's so accurate in that passage because he's making us to a leader, even the people that we don't even know yet or don't even know us. Like that's the I guess not extent. That's like where his power kind of he gets a chance to show off. Like yeah.
And that's attractive to people. Like we have Christ in us, and we, are showing those characteristics of Him.
Yeah.
People are drawn to that beauty. That pure.
Yes, what sticks out to me is the fact that He makes a promise to us to have life, and life to the full. And we can enjoy life and be able to reach potential, just like what He described David to be.
Yeah, because see, when you're doing what you were made for, you're in that. You're in that abundant life. When you're doing what you're created for. That's why that earlier passage of why do you work so hard for what leaves you empty? Why do you spend your money for things that don't nourish? That's why that makes so much sense, because the later passage says this is what fills you when you do what you were made for.
I was reading out the book last night, Radical by David Platt, and he pretty much said something about the money thing. He's like, you guys ever thought about how stupid it is how we spend money? Like the college says, followers of Christ, yeah, we spend $23 million on a facility when there's, like God says to give to the poor. And we pledge $5,000, $10,000, like the church would pledge, our church would pledge money when we're in $8 million facilities.
Yeah.
Like, why do you need a facility to worship Jesus? That's $8 million. To have more air conditioning, or like to have better sound systems.
Right.
To have cushion. He made the thing cushion chairs so you're more comfortable because it's faster. Like, why? Because the world tells us that we deserve that mostly. We deserve to have a nice facility. We have a lot of people who make it. We should have a nice place for people to go. It's God.
I know for me, when I read this passage, it was just so much about relationship. Like, God speaks and we listen. He says, my words give you life. There's a covenant, which is an agreement between two or more parties. There's my presence with you. I made a witness, a leader, a commander. You will issue a call. They will come because of me. I made you beautiful. So the last thing in this that I felt like God wanted us to kind of dive into is, I don't know about you guys, but I find myself really struggling with holding on to hope a lot of times, because the kids that we're going after will be there, and then all of a sudden they're not there at all, and they're on the other side of it, and it's like, you know, what gives? And I've just been getting so frustrated because for me, when God spoke into my life, it was radical. It was like, I'm done with the old me, you know? But it doesn't seem to happen that way for teenagers a lot of times. But I was kind of struggling with that hope this summer, and God just was like, hey, these are teenagers. Like, they're growing into adults. Like, the very nature of our ministry is sowing seeds into plants that are not fully grown. And so we're not going to see, like, they're still maturing. They're still becoming adults, you know? And so to get frustrated, I think about, I guess, have you ever had like an expectation that a movie is going to be excellent, and then you go into it and then it's like, but you just had the wrong expectations, right? Like you had unrealistic expectations. I think I do that with kids. Like, I think that they're going to be fully grown adult Christians when they meet Jesus, and they're just not. Like, occasionally a miracle will happen, and they will have that maturity right away, but for the most part, it's pretty unrealistic. So then the end of Isaiah 55 says this: my intentions are not always yours, and I do not go about things as you do. My thoughts and my ways are above and beyond you, just as heaven is far from your reach here on earth. For as rain and snow can't go back once they've fallen, but soak into the ground and nourish the plants that grow, providing seed to the farmer and bread for the hungry, so it is when I declare something. My word will go out and not return to me empty, but it will do what I wanted it. It will accomplish what I determined. For you will go out in joy, be led home in peace, and as you go to the land itself will break out in cheers. The mountains and the hills will erupt in song, and the trees of the field will clap their hands. Prickly thorns and nasty briars will give way to luxurious shade trees, sweet and good, and they will remind you of the Eternal One and how God can be trusted absolutely and forever. And this is incredibly comforting to me to know that what we're doing here now will fulfill God's purpose. It will not come back void. In fact, it's impossible for it to. He said it's just like how water comes out of the sky and it goes into the ground. Like, it has nowhere else to go. It has to go to the ground. It just has to. And so, like, that's the same way it is with His Word. It's not going to go out and come back empty. And that's given me a lot of hope and encouragement, because God would not start a work in our friends' lives if He didn't intend to finish it. And that might be in 10 years, that might be in 50 years. But He will accomplish His purposes. So I feel like we've done a pretty crappy job. When I say we, I mean me, of encouraging you guys to the most important parts of our ministry, which are spending time with kids, and not Monday night clubs. The most important part is the relationships that we make. And the other most important part is praying for our friends. So I got a couple things to give you guys. This is a copy of Newberry High School yearbook from last year. So it's got every kid from sophomores up to seniors. It's a year behind because it's last year's. So yeah, you can hand those out. It's a year behind because of last year's, and it doesn't have the freshmen of this year because they don't have one yet. But I believe this is going to be an incredible tool for you guys in ministry, and I'm pretty embarrassed that we haven't given it to you before. We have one to the committee too. So what I want you to do with these is I want you to take them home and I want you to pray for every kid. Not all at once, because that would take you 17 hours, but throughout the week, maybe you just pick 5 kids, or maybe you just pick 2 kids to pray for every day, but every day, pray for kids. We don't have a Mid-Carolina one yet. This is just a Newberry one, but I'm hoping to get our hands on a Mid-Carolina one as well to make copies for everybody.
If you need one, let me know.
Yes, I need one. I'm letting you know. Pray for kids. This is going to be a tool for when you come to club and you say, man, I don't know that kid's name, and then you can go back and look and say, oh yeah, that's that kid. Or when you're praying for you, be like, oh, that's the kid that always comes up to me and I never know their name.
I can't remember your name.
Right.
Pull up my yearbook.
And commit that too to like kids that you know you encounter a lot. Like, I'm gonna remember their names. I'm gonna remember their names, and so commit yourself to memory of their names on that paper. So another part is we're not allowed in schools for lunch anymore. But they didn't tell me that we couldn't come when school's out. And so I would love for leaders to just go to the school anytime that you can when school lets out, which is at 3:30?
305.
3:05.
Or 320 for Newberry.
3:05 Mid-Carolina, 3:20 Newberry. They are... Just go hang out in the parking lot. Our kids are going to practices all over the place. Like there's cheerleading practice going on now. There's football practice going on. There's practices all over the campus. Just go, show up. I would say, especially if you had to miss club on Monday night, then you should at least go to the school once during the week. If you miss club, if you didn't make contact at club, then you need to at least go at least once and go to the school. And you don't have to go by yourself. Go with friends or hit me up or hit Dale up. Dale's at Mid-Carolina pretty regular. So if you're wanting to go hang out in Mid-Carolina, say what?
Right after school lets out, we're going to be standing at the building right beside the school tomorrow and just waving to kids about 20 minutes.
So there you
We
go.
got a giant rabbit suit we're going to be dressed up in. You can't miss it.
If I show up,
I'm looking at
It's going to be a suit on the rocket.
I believe that if you guys start showing up after school on campus, that will be more fruitful than what you did if you just came on Monday nights. Hey, hold on, guys. Grab these sports schedules before y'all go. Yeah, y'all need to come grab one of everything that you're gonna miss out on. Yeah, I know. That dude's always.
I would not go to sleep like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. Maybe 4 to 3.
Tomorrow in the afternoon, I'm like, this on.
So we got 6:30 a.m.
Alright, I will see you practice in the morning.
Carl was like,
Bye.
okay.
All right, so I'm also giving you guys a sports schedule. This is Newberry High School. I'm going to get a Mid Carolina one too, but I just went and got this today from the high school because their websites suck. Sorry, they do. But this is a sports schedule that you're getting passed around. This has got all the fall sports. Man, you don't even know what it means to kids when you show up at games. And there's all kinds of kids there that you can hang out with and build relationships with too. So what else we got? The schedule for the year. This is. So what?
Maybe it's a committee, but
Yeah, I think everybody should get one because they'll have the fifth quarters and the
I just think
student weekend. So this is all important dates that you need to get on your calendar for the year. There's some big ones like winter camp and our leader committee weekend together. When's that? February? The first week of February, I think. First weekend of February.
yeah.
First weekend of February. I'd love everybody to go to that. That's going to be awesome. It's at Myrtle Beach, House of Blues, and
That, like, you guys might as well mark that because it's sick week. House of Blues is sick. I don't know who will get to hear this week.
Like carpool up there.
So what? Carpool, bus, or whatever. It's.
yeah, we're taking a bus, and we'll figure
Don't
out.
even think about it.
Figure that out. And that's leader and committee. So Greg, you want to tell the committee how awesome it is too?
Greg was there. I had a broken
Greg just
leg.
reminded me.
Carry me around.
Just put the team marks back.
So another thing that I just wanted to say that's really important is our communication with each other, and it would make it so much easier for me if like everybody would check our Facebook group when we post stuff. If everybody would read the stuff that we post on Facebook. You don't have to worry about Wild Connected is awesome, but don't let that pull you away from the Wild Servant board or the Wild Committee board. If we can't communicate in that way, then we're going to end up having to phone call 30 people, and that's going to be a lot of time, and it's going to take you more time too, because then it's either going to be a voicemail or we're going to talk. I mean, I'm all about personal communication, but it's easy to send out some mass texts and mass ideas through Facebook and stuff like that. So just anytime you get a Facebook or email or text, we try not to do things that don't matter. We try to send out stuff that's important. So, and then the last thing I would say is wildlife. I want to tell you guys about wildlife. We're looking at changing some things up in our wildlife this year, and one of the main things is that we're trying to hire part-time Justin's wife Megan as kind of a trial wildlife part-time position. Which the committee's got to kind of decide on if we can make that happen. And then we're going to go to an every other week for wildlife. Some of y'all might not even know what wildlife is. It's our middle school ministry. And it meets on Saturday nights. But we're going to try to do every other week, and we're looking at getting a Prosperity location for wildlife, so that we're doing one in Newberry and one in Prosperity, to reach out to the Mid Carolina Middle School a little bit more. But also with the wildlife stuff, if any of you are interested in helping with wildlife, or even with being primarily a wildlife leader, we could use you there. We don't have a real big class of junior leaders for wildlife, so we can use all the help we can get with that. Okay, and so the last thing, and this is one of the biggest things, this is one of the most important things, is we are doing club different this year. We've never done this before, but I'm super excited about it because it's going to be better than it's ever been, and that's because you are going to own it. You are running club this year, not me, and I think God wanted me to do this a long time ago, and I'm just now getting around to it, so sorry about that. But here's the deal. You should all have handouts that have over 100 club ideas. These are like theme clubs and stuff like that. Next week when we meet Monday night, this coming Monday night, every leader needs to bring at least one idea for like a full club. So that includes, you know, games, skit, any extra any fun things you want to do in it, maybe some song ideas, just a full club. And so if you need help coming up with ideas, you've got that big list, and I've posted it on Wild Servants. So every one that's highlighted in blue and underlined, you can click on that and you can get where another area has done the entire club, and then you can tweak it to however you want. So everybody's going to bring at least one full club. It doesn't have to be a theme club. It can be just a regular club. It could just be like, ooh, I like this game, I like this skit, let's do those in the same night. Dale asked, could we do like based on the talk? Like he gave an example, like the night that sin equals death. What if we did zombie night? You know, so like if you want to base it off of the talk, use your creative juices to go off of the talk, because you also have the talk schedule there. So bring one fully planned club. What we're going to do when we meet Monday is we're going to just give a quick summary of our club. We're going to be like, I'm doing Yellow Club, and we're going to sing the song Yellow, and everybody's going to wear yellow, and the skit's going to be a yellow school bus, or, you know, whatever. So you just give a quick summary of, like, 20-second summary of what your club is. We're going to write them all on the board, and then we're going to pick the top 10 clubs for the year, however many we need, 10 clubs for the year, and then you're going to break up into teams, and you guys are going to plan the entire night together as a team. You're going to get the whole schedule done for the night, and then so you need to also know your schedule, know your calendar, know when you can't be there, because then we're going to plug those in to the schedule on certain dates, and your team, your group is going to be responsible for club for that night. So when we get there, it's going to be y'all's night, and y'all are going to be like, okay, here's what we're doing tonight, and you're going to have everything planned out, and you know, I'll help you like get the things ready, get the you know, game materials or whatever props that you need for stuff, but you're going to be in charge of the night. So I'm really excited about that, and you get to be creative, and it's going to be awesome. So start thinking about that, start praying about that, and we'll do that Monday. So, and then another thing is that we're doing talks a little different this year too. Your schedule's pretty blank as far as talks go. If you are a new leader, this is your first, you've been through the training and this is your first year, then that means you're eligible to give talks. But what we want to do is, your first talk is supposed to be your testimony. So I want to get with all the new leaders in the next week or two and record a 5-minute testimony on video. So be condensing your testimony to 5 minutes and come up with a date that we can meet so that I can record your testimony in 5 minutes. And we're going to show a 5-minute testimony, and hopefully it'll line up with one of the things on the schedule, and then we can come up with some Bible verses that support a talk for the night off of your testimonies, if that makes sense. If not, we'll talk about that later. Okay. The other thing after we did that at the meeting, one of the last things we did was we talked about where are we doing good at and where can we improve, just based on last year. And so this was a discussion. I didn't put this stuff out there. These are things that other leaders said. So I'm not telling you this. This is what other leaders said. They said that club was awesome, that we were really hyped, that the kids were into it, that the skits were funny, that the games were good, that music was good. The club was awesome. They said places we can improve are personal quiet time. We talked about last year how every time we went around and said, how are you doing, people would be like, pray for me in my personal quiet time. I'm not having enough quiet time. So that was a place of improvement that we need to really work on. We really need to start having more quiet time, because we can't give out what we don't have, and we're supposed to be this overflowing river of Jesus. So we need to be spending time with Jesus every day, all throughout the day, and being connected to God. Another thing was meeting more kids. Some leaders said, I feel like we all kind of know the same kids, and there's a bunch of kids that nobody really knows that comes to clubs. So said things like, let's just start trying to meet, a couple new kids every week. Every week, say, hey, I'm going to meet a new kid this week that I've never met before. And so that doesn't mean that you don't have, a core group of 2 or 3 that you really pour into, but let's try to meet more kids. Another big one was spending time with kids outside of club, and we talked about that earlier in the video, where we're saying, you need to be, like, especially if you miss club, you need to be at the school at some point in the week. We need to be going to games. We need to be hanging out with kids outside of club. If you can't come to Connection on Wednesday, you should try to make your own little Bible study, your own little devotional group. I'm telling you, there's so many kids that are just starving for attention and love, and we can give it to them. So another thing that was said, one of the leaders said, he said, I'm saying this about myself too, but we need to be showing up more. Like, we need to be at more stuff. We need to be at as many leader meetings as we can, at as many clubs as we can. We need to be on Wednesday nights. He said when they have 5th quarter football games, like, we need to be showing up at more stuff. And the last thing was prayer time. Some of the leaders just were saying how we kind of drag our prayer time out really long before club starts, and then we don't have time to hang out with kids before club. And so the thought was, let's bring our big prayer concerns to each other at our meeting, and let's pray for each other with those, and then let's pray for the kids at club. And any kind of peripheral, smaller prayer concerns, let's share that on the Wild Servant board, and let's pray for each other that way. And the example was like, let's say I'm really struggling, I have a quiz this week. Let's put that on the board. Hey guys, pray for my quiz this week. Or let's say work is just really hard, and this has happened at work 10 times this week. Then let's share that on the Wild Servant board. Let's not bring that to the big discussion, the big prayer time discussion. And so the last thing is leadership, discipleship, training. We're doing another new thing. Everything is new for me this year. Everything is new. So on Sunday nights at 6:30, we're going to do a discipleship course that really teaches you how to make disciples. And our Wildlife Junior leaders are going to be a part of that. Our new incoming leaders are going to be a part of that. And you guys are open to it too. And I hope you guys come if you can at 6:30 on Sunday nights. It's only going to be an hour, 6:30 to 7:30. And if you can't be there's a website that I'm going to post on the Wild Servant board that you can go and participate that way. It's a Francis Chan thing. It's great, and it's going to have a lot of leadership and teaching you how to make disciples. And after that, at 8 o'clock on Sunday nights, we're starting a new college worship service called The Intersection. I'm super excited about this. I need your guys' help with this, especially you college leaders. This is a place I believe God is moving and working, and you can bring your friends and they're going to meet Jesus all year long. God is going to transform the campus, but you guys have got to help. Like, you guys have got to drag your friends there. You guys have got to promote it, and you guys have got to be their follow-up to say, hey, I'm going to walk this walk out with you, because people are going to meet Jesus. I know it. So I think that's all. I love you guys. Out.